Welcome to today's IEEE Explore webinar on search strategies to optimize your research time. My name is Jalen Kelly, and I am an IEEE Client Services Manager based in San Antonio, Texas. My colleague, Craig Griffith, who's in Northern California, is also on the call today, and he's going to moderate our Q&A session after the live demo. But before we get started, a few housekeeping items. All of the widgets on your screen are resizable and movable, so feel free to move them around to make the most out of your space. At the bottom of your screen are engagement tools, so you can find answers to common technical issues in the orange question mark help tool. All lines are muted, so if you have a question, you can submit them through the Q&A widget on your screen or click the purple Q&A icon at the bottom of the screen. And at the end of today's session, you can click the yellow certificate icon at the bottom of your screen to download a certificate of participation. You should also see a resources widget on your screen where you can download a copy of today's slides, as well as access some of the URLs that we're going to be referring to throughout today's session. But before we get started, I want to take a quick poll question. So if you could let me know, what is your role? Are you an undergraduate student, graduate student, librarian or information professional, faculty member, an engineer or researcher, or something else? And Craig and I are actually librarians and information professionals. While you're answering the question, I'll just give you a brief outline of today's presentation. I'm going to start with a few slides to introduce you to the IEEE and the content available on the IEEE Explore Digital Library. Then we're going to go live into IEEE Explore, where I'll share some best practices, and then we'll save about 10 minutes at the end for a Q&A session. All right, so let's see what we've got here. So the largest bulk is librarian and information professionals, but we also have almost 7% undergraduate students, 15% grad students, 16% faculty, and 32% engineering researchers. So a pretty good mix of people on the line today. And regardless of your familiarity with IEEE Explore, today's session should be helpful for both new and experienced users. All right, so if you're not familiar with the IEEE, we are the world's largest technical membership association with more than 420,000 members around the world. In addition to being a membership association, IEEE, though, is also a publisher, and the content that we published is discoverable in the IEEE Explore Digital Library, which today is over 5 million full-text documents. As a nonprofit association, IEEE's mission is to foster technical innovation for the benefit of humanity, and IEEE has identified articles in Explore that may help researchers who are directly or indirectly engaged in the fight against COVID-19. And we've made that collection of research freely available on IEEE Explore for the duration of the global health crisis. And speaking of the global health crisis, I'm curious to see if people are still working from home or studying from home, or if you're working or studying from the office now, or if you're doing some sort of a mixed hybrid approach where you're spending some time in the classroom and some time online classes, things like that. So if you could go ahead and give us an update. I'm personally working from home, but some of my colleagues are working from the office and others are doing a hybrid approach. So it's a mixed bag for a lot of us. Okay, let's see here. It looks like most people are still home or doing a hybrid with a mix. Only about 10%, 11% are working from the office or studying at school 100%. Okay, well, one of the reasons we ask is because with the shift to remote learning and working from home, IEEE had to ensure that every user could access IEEE Explore in this past year. And we have a variety of resources to help you with this, including a remote access blog with tips, links to our help and resources pages on remote access, and a link to a remote access help form. So if you're having issues accessing IEEE Explore, please do check out these tools and information to help you. And IEEE has a variety of live and on-demand webinars, such as this one we're doing now. But the IEEE's educational activity team also provided a series of free webinars to help educators support distance learning. And again, this URL should be in the resources link. And of course, we're always introducing new content to address growing areas of research. And within the IEEE Explore Digital Library, you'll see 5 different types of content. So we have approximately 200 journals and magazines with peer-reviewed articles on a wide range of established and uncharted technologies. You'll see conference papers on the latest technology breakthroughs, standards that underpin many of today's top technologies, such as the 802.11 Wi-Fi standard. We also have hundreds of hours of e-learning courses taught by experts in the field. And there's 8 ebook collections from a variety of publishers. So your access to this content depends upon your organization's institutional subscription to the IEEE Explore Digital Library. And while most people think of the IEEE, they think of electrical engineering and computing, which are our core foundational technologies. IEEE actually has 39 societies which cover a wide range of technical interests. And because technology impacts pretty much everything today, you'll find technical cross-disciplinary research in the IEEE Explore Digital Library as well. IEEE content is also very highly valued and highly cited. So one metric we look at is the journal citation report from Clarivate Analytics, which looks at how often journal articles are cited by other journals. And IEEE publishes many of the top cited journals in our core areas, including electrical engineering, telecommunications, computer science, and so on. And because the technology landscape is evolving, we're always introducing new publications. So here you can see 5 new journals on topics such as industrial electronics, information theory, and artificial intelligence. The conference collection in IEEE Explore continues to grow as well. Due to the pandemic, some IEEE conferences in 2020 postponed to a later date, but the majority of IEEE conferences continued on in a new virtual format, and many saw record attendance levels. IEEE is also expanding our open access offerings. The goal is to provide any author a publication venue regardless of their funding status, the publishing mandates you may have to work with, or where you are in the world. So before we go into the live demo, which is next, let's take a quick poll to see how familiar everyone is with IEEE Explore. So if you could just let me know how often you use IEEE Explore. And during today's live session, I'm going to be covering best practices for searching and browsing IEEE Explore, using personalization features, which will help you stay up to date on the latest technology breakthroughs, finding trending content, accessing supplemental items such as code, data sets, and video, and other value-added features that you might not be aware of. All right, so let's see the results. We've got a pretty good equal mix across. We have some people who've never used it, some people who use it daily. So again, today's session should be